Everyone, my name is Victoria Demaro, and the last time you saw me I was a third grade teacher. I am now a literacy specialist and coach. Basically today what I'm going to be doing is taking you through a curriculum that I created. It's a phonics curriculum. It's available on my Teachers Pay Teacher store, so maybe you're here because you're interested in finding a new curriculum, whether it's for interventions or centers, or if you have a built-in phonics time in your school day. But yeah, I'm going to take you through my curriculums. There are two different ones. There's a K-2 and then there's a 2-4 curriculum. And let's just dive in. First thing you'll see are 3 pages worth of information just for the user. So how to use the program, how I design the curriculum, and key instructional methods that will be used in the curriculum. When I created this curriculum, there were a couple of things that I wanted to include from past curriculums I've used, but also things I wanted to alter that I noticed were kind of lacking in curriculums I've used in the past. So one thing I love is the consistency of this program and of other programs I've used. I think consistency is really important, where you and the kids both know exactly what you're doing every day. So the skill might be changing, but the actual activities and things that you're doing are staying consistent and remain the same from lesson to lesson, which I'll get into a little bit deeper in a second. The next thing is that the sounds are introduced in a specific order. So basically when I'm introducing these, it starts with continuous sounds and then goes into some vowels and then more continuous sounds and then eventually stop sounds. So if you don't know, continuous sounds are sounds that can be kind of stretched out a little bit more, so like s, and then stop sounds are sounds that cut off abruptly, like b for B. So the reason why I did this was because if you're having kids blend and you're going in order of the curriculum, teaching it letter by letter, especially for kindergarten, but for those struggling first graders and even second graders who might not know all of their letter sounds, it's easier to blend if you're using continuous sounds as the first consonant in a CVC word. So if I have the word bat, it's going to be harder for kids to blend because I'm saying b-at. So then they're going b-at. Instead of if I had the word sat, I could do sat. I could blend that S because it's a continuous sound right into the A, whereas with the stop sound, it kind of cuts off before the vowel, which makes it harder to blend. So you want those continuous sounds in the beginning when they're first learning how to blend, just because it does push right into that vowel sound and makes the blending process easier. Everything in the program builds off of each other, and that's really important. I'm going to show you exactly what that means, because there's a reason why you're supposed to go in order for the curriculum. But obviously if you have kids that have mastered the first sounds in the curriculum, which I'm looking at it right now, the first sounds are F, L, A, M. If they've already mastered those and you want to start at the next lesson, which is letter N, feel free to do that as long as they've mastered those first couple. But if you have a kid who doesn't know L yet, you're going to want to start at the L lesson, even if they know other letters, because the L is going to be used in future lessons. I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. If you look at this first lesson, it says dictation words. There's no dictation words, just focus on the letter formation and sound. The reason for that is because if you're following the curriculum in order, this is the only letter that the students would have actually learned. Yes, they might know other letters like the letters in their names and things like that, but we're as far as explicit instruction, this is the first letter that's taught. If you look at the lesson for letter A, this is the third lesson in the curriculum, and this is the first lesson where you'll see dictation words. It's because we finally have enough letters to do a CVC word. So there's a CVC word and then there's just a VC word. If you notice here, the CVC word is laugh and then the VC word is F. So it uses the 3 letters that we've taught so far in the curriculum, which is why I'm saying when things build off of each other. If you look at M, which is the next one, you'll only see M, A, F, and L are used because those are the only letters that have been taught yet in the curriculum. We'll get into some key instructional methods in just a second, but before I do that, I want to take you through one page of the curriculum so that you know what every page is going to look like. So every page might have different suggestions on them, but the overall view and structure of the page is the same. This way you can structure your lesson the same every day so students know the expectations and can do it without having to spend a lot of time on routines and procedures. Basically, when you're using the curriculum and you're on a particular lesson, you're going to want to start with 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so they build off of each other. So phonemic awareness is just the sound. And so for this one, every time it's going to say have students listen for the words with the particular sound that you're focusing on, give a thumbs up when they hear it. So there's going to be one word that has the sound and one word that does not. The sound might be in the beginning, the sound might be at the end of the word, but the students should be listening to that sound so they can clearly identify it. The next thing is going to be the sound introduction. As you can see on this one, they can color pictures of a frog. They're going to write the lowercase and uppercase F on either side because F is the focus letter for this lesson. Students can sort pictures that have F if you have those available. Practice writing or building the letter. Maybe you're using sand. Maybe you're using Play-Doh or rice. Make fish lips because fish starts with an F, and brainstorm words that start with F. Dictation words will be here, which I showed you in later lesson. I'll show you how we actually use dictation words. And then the last one is dictation sentences, which we'll also get into in a second. But before I get into dictation words and sentences, I want to just point out that the letter that you're focusing on is at the top. And then this is a picture to help students remember. So it's on yours so that you remember to reference it. And you can say, oh, F. If I forget what sound F makes, I can look at the picture of the frog. And there will be another resource that's also available, which I'll show you in a little bit as well, that you can also purchase to use in alongside this program. For the cards that I was just referring to, basically you would print these out and you would cut them. This goes through the entire set of letters that are available in the Tadpoles curriculum. You'll have the letter and you'll have the picture that matches the picture on the curriculum page. Basically, you would cut these out. You would build CVC words with it, so you would have 3 cards here. Let's say I had M-A-F that I laid out. I would say M-A-F with students. And then I might switch out the M for another letter, so another consonant. I might put an L here, and now they might sound out laugh, laugh. And I would keep swapping out that consonant in the beginning and at the end, and I would keep swapping out that vowel to help them practice blending throughout with just the letters we've learned. So obviously in the beginning, you're just going to have F, A, and L to work with, but once you get to the later lessons, you're going to have more letters to work with that you can swap in and out. So you build that deck for students as you go. The next thing I'm going to do is take you through 2 instructional practices that we use in this program. The first one is called Pound It, Tap It, Spell It, and the second one is Pounding Out Sentences. I'm going to take you back to this letter A lesson again, and we're going to take a look at these dictation words. So we have laugh and af. What I would do is I would say the sentence, or I would say the word or dictate the word to the student. So I would say laugh. Then students would know, because we do the same thing every lesson, to pound it, tap it, spell it. This is to help with hearing the sounds in the words before actually writing them out. So let's use the word laugh as our example. Doing pound it, tap it, spell it with laugh, I would pound the word laugh, tap out the sounds L-A-F, and then I would spell the word. So I would write it out, L-A-F. That's as easy as it is. Let's do the second dictation word, which is af. You would pound the whole word, af. You would tap out the sounds, af, and then you would write the word. So A-F, af. So this program uses a combination of real words and nonsense words. The point in doing this is so that students can get maximum amount of practice with writing words that use these letter sounds in them. You can have a conversation about whether they're a real word or a nonsense word. Something to keep in mind, though, is sometimes the nonsense words can actually be syllables in other words. Like, for instance, the word af that we just used, that's a nonsense word, but it's also a syllable in the word after. So you might ask students, okay, is af a real word or a fake word? Okay, it's a fake word. But actually, it's a syllable or a chunk in a real word. Can you think of one? Like afternoon, after, things like that. The second instructional method that we use is pounding out sentences, which I'll show you right now based off of this letter A lesson. So the first sentence in this one is, what is an af? And then the second one is, I am laugh. So you do one sentence at a time, just like you do one dictation word at a time. So let's pound out this sentence. Pound out this first sentence, what is an af? So the teacher would say the sentence. Okay, the sentence we're about to write is, what is an af? I'm going to pound it out, you listen. What is an af? So each syllable gets 1 pound. Most of the beginning ones are 1-syllable words, but you might get into some later where there are 2-syllable words. So if the word was, what is an afternoon, you would say, what is an afternoon? Okay, just like that. But in the beginning, it's just, what is an af? And then the teacher would say, okay, students, I want you to pound it out with me 2 times. So together, the teacher and the students go, what is an af? What is an af? Then students would write the sentence. Trust me, I thought pounding out sentences was like, okay, it's just another instructional tactic. It's not going to make a big difference, but it makes a huge difference, especially for students that are having trouble with processing things. So if they are having difficulty with that, and even if they're not, it helps them to better remember the sentence so that they can produce that writing a lot more quickly. And once that they're done writing the sentence, feel free to have conversations about what does a sentence start with, what should it end with, is this a question, is this a command, and things like that. So bridging in those other elements of writing into this sentence writing right here. The thing I want to point out is that any consonant is going to have a purple banner, and then any vowel is going to have a green banner and a green circle that says vowel. That's just your reminder as the teacher to make sure that you are having that discussion with students about what vowels are, how they're important, because they have an important role in every single word. You cannot have a word without a vowel. So it's important that you master those short vowel sounds in the beginning if you want to become an even stronger reader than you already are. Last thing I'm going to do in this tutorial is just show you one of the later lessons. I'm going to show you the lesson for letter J. And this is towards the end of the curriculum because, again, it's a stop sound, so it's more difficult to blend with. It's still an important letter. If you chose to teach this differently, it's fine. I just found that when you're really teaching kids how to blend and you're working on that skill, like I said earlier, those continuous sounds are important to have as the first consonant in a CVC word when students are first learning how to blend, which is why J is towards the end. Take a look at the lesson. You still have the letter at the top. You have that picture to help you remember. So this one's going to be jam. You could even do jar if you wanted. Phonemic awareness activities, sound introduction. Your list of dictation words becomes longer because you have more letters that have been taught in the curriculum. So you'll see a mixture of vowels. You'll see a mixture of consonants. J appears at the beginning of the words, which is why you'll see it all here. But if it was a letter like M, you would see it at the beginning or the end of the word for dictation words if you were on lesson for lesson M. Dictation sentences, I give just 3 in one lesson to not be overwhelming. They usually build off of each other, and you'll see that like this one is the same as the lesson before it, the same 3 sentences just with J words instead of the other letter that was taught, which in this case were QU words. So you'll see, and this one is the same sentence starters for all 3, and then just a QU word, same sentence starters for all 3, and then just a J word. That'll be true for about 4 or 5 lessons, and then those 3 sentences will change. So it's not the same 3 sentences from the beginning, but they use sight words. So this way students are practicing sight words and phonetic words simultaneously. Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial video. Be sure to check out my curriculum if you haven't already. It's on my TPT, which is linked in the description below. There's also videos about this on my Instagram as well. Both are Say Yay to Play, so you'll find my Say Yay to Play for YouTube, Instagram, and TPT. So it's all aligned. Thanks guys, have a good night.